A unique philosophy production. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. This is Mr. Senior Love Daddy, your voice of choice, the world's only 12-hour strong man on the air. Here on We Love Radio, 108 FM, the last on your dial, but first in your hearts. And that's the truth, Ruth.
Are you a white, non-Jewish American citizen?
Yes.
Are you in favor of a white man's government in this country?
Yes.
Do you believe in racial separation?
Yes.
That's enough! You see? Your stupid minds. Stupid.
Here are your hosts. He was the paper confetti thrower in all of John Woo's films. Ladies and gentlemen, Doug Wall. He was the guy that died off camera in over 250 films. Lee Bridges. He sleeps with 3 Patrick Swayze movies under his pillow on Wednesday nights. Garrick Lane. And finally, he needs no introduction as he is the reason for this show. He is the only one with any talent, charisma, intellect, or charm. He is the mid of the night. He is the in of the drive. He is the cast in the pod. He is me, Mark Rose. Now sit back and relax and listen to the super sounds of the 70s. This is the Midnight Drive-In.
I'd be surprised if Klansman could do simple mathematics. Welcome to the Midnight Drive-In. I'm your host, Garrick Lane. I'm here with Doug Wall, Lee Bridges, and Mark Rose. How we doing, fellas?
Doing great.
Good.
Doing well.
All right, well, let's start with, how was your week? We watched some movies. Anything exciting happen?
Nothing really exciting happened. Just, standard week.
Standard week. I watched...
Still trying to get over Halloween.
Still watched 27 films, and we're going to talk about every one of them. No, I'm kidding. No. Did you watch any movies?
I just rewatched a bunch of older movies. I already watched it. I haven't seen it forever. Was Night Shift with Michael Keaton and Henry Winkler.
Great one. It's an awesome movie.
I probably haven't seen it since the 80s. And
does it hold up well?
It does. It does. It was surprisingly, holds up very well. Yeah. Some of the jokes are probably a little inappropriate, And I don't know if a movie about a guy that's turned into a city morgue into a whorehouse would work now, but yeah, I found it still very funny.
Yeah. It was Henry Winkler, wasn't it? And Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Well, what about you? You see anything good?
Yeah, since we were doing a Spike Lee film this week, I decided to revisit his first, Do the Right Thing, which I'd never seen before, so it'll be an interesting comparison.
From
his first to his last. And, I think the only other one I've seen of his was would have been Malcolm X, probably.
Yeah,
I think that's the only other one I've seen.
Really?
That's crazy. Well, Doug and I watched Get Out.
Yeah.
I watched Get Out.
You watched Get Out. I'd seen it.
You had already seen it. Yeah. Which is funny because talking about African-American films and African-American filmmakers, with talking about Spike Lee, it's very funny. It has been a long time. I knew about that film. Obviously, Jordan Peele won the Oscar for original screenplay, and it had been on my list, and I heard everybody say, "Oh man, you got to see this movie. It's crazy. It's good. It's good. It's crazy good."
Does that stop you from seeing movies sometimes?
Sometimes, yes.
Because if there's people whose opinion I don't respect, it could be the greatest movie in the world, and I just won't see it.
Or if you do, that opinion will color your.
Well, no, if it's like 20 people, and they tell me, 6 weeks ago, I heard them talk about how much they love Paul Blart Mall Cop, and then they tell me to watch Get Out. I'm like, what the fuck do you know?
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I've heard Get Out.
Apples and oranges,
right? And look, and I'm probably going to get in trouble here, but here's the story. The story is very simple. There has been a very lack of African-American actors being nominated for Oscars, writers and directors, since 12 Years Slave.
Right.
Now,
that was 2000.
I don't know if that has to do with Hollywood being racist or whatever anybody wants to say.
Right.
But I will say this, that Jordan Peele, even as great a filmmaker and as entertaining as that film is, got that Oscar because they had to give it to him. that film was not Oscar contention, and especially like just knowing, like for instance, 12 Years Slave earned every bit of it.
Right.
It was the last film that I actually cried. It was the last film that I actually cried, bawled at the end of it. It was a fantastic masterpiece.
Okay, but let me ask you a question. How many times have you seen 12 Years a Slave?
Twice.
Have you watched it since it won not Best Picture?
Yes, once.
Once, okay. How often do you think you'll watch Get Out?
I will never watch it.
You'll never watch it again?
That's a good question. Yeah, so I might watch it.
Like that's like they recently had a thing. They shot the idea down after everybody hated it. They were going to have a popular movie Oscar, which is a terrible idea. But at the same time, like I don't know, it's like a lot of these movies, Oscar movies, they just don't,
But the film was.
I'm not saying I'm talking about 12 Years a Slave. I'm talking about other movies that just no one ever sees. That
Right. Well, but Get Out, it's a horror film. It's
right.
It's. I mean, I don't want to give it away. It's hard to talk about this film without ruining it, like giving it the spoiler alerts. But it's basically about. Basically about Black Lives Matter and white privilege. Right. And it was entertaining. I enjoyed it. And I'm not saying it wasn't good. And I'm saying that Jordan Peele he was great in it. In fact, he stole the show. He's actually the sidekick buddy, and he was the best part of the film. Right. Did it win the Oscar because the Academy said we have to give an Oscar to an African American this year because we didn't last year? Right. Absolutely. And I don't mean that in any way besides of the quality of that film. Right. And knowing that.
Do you have the list of films that it was up against?
Yeah, well, that's another thing I was getting ready to say is I may be wrong. Right. 3 Billboards. Right. Shape of Water, which is just the Creature of the Black Lagoon in a different time. Getting laid. Yeah, Getting Laid, yes. Billboards, I thought was a much stronger film. Yeah. A much stronger script. Right.
The Weekending.
Lady Bird. Did you see Lady Bird?
I did not see Lady Bird.
Okay, I heard that was the best. I have not seen it.
Yeah, like...
You just don't know. I don't know. Right. I'm telling you, if somebody was to ask me about that film, I would say it was great. Yeah. Did it win the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay? Right. Absolutely not. Yeah. That's just me. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, it is an original story. You're right on, though, when you say that I think that had it been made 10 years ago, it probably wouldn't have ever been discussed at an Oscar level.
If we would have swapped races and it would have been black people cutting white people's brains
it would have never been made.
Correct.
But that doesn't necessarily take away from the film itself. I still think it's a really interesting story. But it definitely, to me, got a little bit more hype because of the tensions in this country and it coming out around the 2016 election and kind of, it's an odd movie to kind of centerpiece, a microcosm of how this country is kind of fighting in its own self and these racial overtones. That it's kind of, in some ways, that movie's comedic. It's kind of silly to me how the white people act in that movie because I'm white, and I'm like, man, like this is ridiculous, But at the same time, that's a perception that a lot of people have of the way that white people are, and
rich white people are.
Sure, and I can totally understand it. I smiled a lot during the movie. I did think it was a very unique idea, but like you say, Garrick, I don't think on any level that it's Oscar worthy.
And I'll tell you,
unlike the movie we saw tonight, which should be.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I think we'll get to that. But I did like. It was great when the pictures came out. Yeah. And he saw the pictures, and it was like the moment where you're like, oh, snap. Now I'll give him that. And so there you go. We got some homework for Lee and Mark.
Right, yeah, I've not seen the movie.
Yeah.
Well, go back to what you're saying now. What's the difference? Okay, let's go back to 2006. Martin Scorsese wins for The Departed. All right, let's be completely honest. That was an award for him not getting it for Raging Bull and Goodfellas.
You're absolutely. I didn't.
So what's the difference in that?
I didn't say there was any difference.
Okay, I'm just saying.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. He had.
And
much
you got
better
that because Dances with Wolves won and not Goodfellas.
That's exactly.
That's the only reason. And
you're
he's old now.
And you're exactly right.
Yeah.
And they gave.
They're throwing Marty a bone.
There's been other Oscars. Here's another one.
Yeah.
Call me a racist. I'm not a racist. I loved Denzel Washington, but
Right.
did he really win for Training Day? Was that really his best film?
Well, okay.
Was it really his best film?
He'd already won for Glory.
Yeah, that was supporting.
That's true. But I mean, I don't see. That's the thing. Like, is it discounted just because it's a popular movie? Like, you always hear people talk about how Marissa Tomei won by accident. Like, they accidentally called out her name.
But she was great.
That's true, but people discount because it was from a comedy.
Yes.
You know.
You're right.
So, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. I mean,
Martin Landau. Did they give Martin Landau for Ed Wood, or did he really earn it? Because I thought he earned it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was nothing better than Ed Wood.
No, he is Bela Lugosi in that movie.
Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
And you're right. This is all argument. I'm just saying, I've been disappointed before with films.
Right.
I think The Birdman.
Said I've never seen Birdman.
Well, in my opinion, any film that is nominated for an Oscar, everyone should go in absolutely coming out loving it.
And also,
I mean, they only pick 5 movies out of the frickin' year. You know,
you got the hundreds of thousands of. When you get DVDs, they send you screeners.
Yeah.
There's no way all those people watch all those movies. It's just not possible. I guarantee a lot of them, they're just like, yeah, that looks good. You know, like when I go to vote and it's like, Secretary of Agriculture, I don't know who the fuck that is. I'm just like, Jeff Smith seems like a good guy.
I like that name. Check.
It's like, it's not like the governor and the president and the mayor. I don't know who they are. I mean, I think that's a lot of what it is.
You're right. Well, I will say, have you seen Moonlight?
Oh, yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah.
A lot of people said, that's not Oscar worthy. I thought it was.
The last Oscar-winning movie I loved was Spotlight. And I found it unbelievable.
Spotlight was great.
Spotlight was great. And I found it so uncomfortable to watch when they were talking to the victims.
Yes.
I was just writhing in my seat.
Yeah, that was a great film. I owned that one. The Revenant. I thought it was. I love The Revenant, but Spotlight was better.
Right.
Same year.
Like Revenant's like a movie I can watch once every couple of years. I'm not gonna be like, guys, let's just get a pizza and watch The Revenant.
Yes.
So.
And I might be wrong. Spotlight might have been the year after, right?
Right.
But okay. Anyway, getting back to Get Out.
Yeah.
It was nominated for Best Movie, Best Director,
Yeah.
And Best Original Screenplay, and one for Best Original Screenplay.
That's the only one to me that it could have possibly won.
Well, absolutely.
They would have rioted had it won any of the others. It being nominated to me was enough of a surprise.
Yeah, was definitely a surprise.
But those are all voted on by everyone who gets those screeners, everyone who's members of the Academy.
Well, but I think sometimes.
And are you saying that they take these votes and say, I think we got this wrong. We'll give it to this movie.
Sometimes I think they definitely
yes, 100%.
Yeah, like I said, in 2006, I love The Departed. I do. I love the Hong Kong movie it's based on. I love it, but that was not Martin Scorsese's best directed movie.
No. Last Temptation of Christ, in my opinion, is one of his best.
The Aviator was much better.
Right, exactly.
The Aviator, and he got shunned on that one by Spielberg with Lincoln, correct?
Right.
Was that right? Or
No, Aviator was 2004.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I should have done my homework a little bit better. But either way, there's so many films.
Right.
You're right. Like they give it to him Departed just in case he dies. He has to have an Oscar.
Yeah.
He's getting to the end of his rope.
Yeah.
Give him the Oscar.
Exactly.
So is that going to happen for Tom Cruise too someday?
Maybe.
If
he stops doing Mission Impossible and he does more of your favorite film, Magnolia. Wasn't that the last time he was not? He was actually nominated for that movie.
And his performance was phenomenal.
That
in that movie.
film was phenomenal.
The film was not.
The movie
his
he should have
performance
won
was
for
good.
was Born on the 4th of July. Though.
I cannot believe you don't like
It's
that
the
film.
worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
You know, that's the worst movie you've ever seen.
Magnolia is the
Have you
worst
seen
movie.
7 movies?
That's the worst I've ever seen in my
There are
life.
much worse movies than that.
Yes,
There's not.
I think
I sat there for 3 hours.
Right.
a great 3 hours.
Oh my
God,
god!
the performance.
The frogs fell out of the sky, and I was like, Oh my God!
Yeah.
I sat here for 3 hours, and this is what I get.
Right. The worst movie?
No, it had great performances. It's
Right.
the worst movie with great performances I've ever seen.
Okay, it's the worst movie with great performance. I thought you were saying it's the worst movie you've ever seen.
Well, that I can probably.
Yes, it's on his top 5 of all worst of all time.
Wow.
Kill list is pretty bad. So.
But, Paul,
You gave that a pretty high grade.
I love Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
I will say Punch Drunk Love.
That was his kind of what the.
Like, maybe it was...
When it came out at the same time as American Beauty, and it's like, okay, here's a masterpiece in American Beauty,
See,
and then you've got Magnolia.
I like American Beauty, but I hate 90% of the characters more every time I watch it.
It's almost unwatchable.
Yeah, it's almost unwatchable. The only character is Kevin Spacey in it now, and now that's fucking shot to shit.
Yeah, can't watch anything.
That fucking kid with his fucking videotape of a bag. I threw that kid in the river. God dang! Everyone is just a bunch of assholes.
Yeah. It really is. It's
maybe that's the point.
It's an ultra pretentious movie.
It's
When you
an
go back and watch it
ultra-pretentious
now,
movie.
it's hard to watch.
And also, that's another thing. Like, movies are like, say Get Out in 5 years, people might be, why did this win best?
Yeah,
or they might be, because movies. That's kind of the bad thing about us doing this, like watch a movie and then talk about it. I almost think the second watch is the best watch of a movie.
Really?
Yeah, like this because you notice stuff more. I don't know. It's some movies.
That's the case with the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I'll agree.
Well,
then you can start playing the games,
right?
And stuff.
We're giving yourself at least some time to think about the movie. We're giving ourselves 5 minutes and sit down and talk about it. And it's like it's still spinning in my mind. What did I like about it? What did I not like?
Yeah,
and that's okay. So, but what did you see besides Get Out, Doug?
Terminal.
You saw Terminal. Is that the Tom Hanks film?
This is the Von Stein written and directed 2018 release starring Margot Robbie, Mike Myers from SNL Mike Myers, not from Halloween Mike Myers.
That would have been more interesting.
And Simon Pegg. It was. You always hear me complain about a lack of originality in a lot of these movies that we talk about and look at. But every so often, something comes along where the guy really tries to do something different, and it just blows up in his fucking face. And that is Terminal. It had some really unique interlocking stories, very Tarantino-esque at certain parts of it. And then it's almost like he just gets into a panic and just freaks out in the last 20 minutes because he's got so much more to tell that he kind of wasted the first hour of the movie not keeping it smooth. It is like a massive jigsaw puzzle that none of the pieces fit. It's a nice try, but at the end of the day, it is just a goddamn disaster. And the last 15 minutes is a what the fuck is this? It's the biggest what the fuck is this maybe in a movie I've ever seen, and not in a good way.
Right.
Bathwater rating for Margot Robbie.
She is
Is she naked at all in this one?
She is not naked at all. She is, of course, perfect.
Then that movie's a piece of shit.
Pretty much. It was nice to see Mike Myers in something. I haven't seen him in anything since I think the
Austin Powers
movies, really, or maybe
I Married an Axe Murderer. Wasn't that his last good one?
that was the last one that he was good in. This was fine. His acting in it was fine. It's just don't.
Yeah. He's good in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
Was he in it?
He's the
that's
English
right.
general.
That's right.
It's one of those where the guy writes
Myers,
it and
yes?
directs
Wow.
it, but he is unable to take what he has written and show you what he wants to. He tries, but in my opinion, it's a failure.
Okay. Then what's the other? You saw something else?
I watched a Netflix original, The Apostle.
I got halfway through it.
It's got Dan Stevens from Legion, and I think he was on Downton Abbey.
I think
You see this?
No.
Michael Sheen, who was in Twilight. He was in a show called Masters of Sex that was on Showtime. I
Did that have Margot Robbie in it?
It didn't. It was actually a cool show. If you've never seen it,
about
you should
Masters
check it
and
out.
Johnson.
Lucy Boynton, she is actually
Bathwater rating on
she
her.
is in Bohemian Rhapsody. The bathwater rating on Lucy's actually pretty hot.
Oh.
She's quite attractive. And I don't remember knowing her, seeing her anything else other than this, but she's good. It's a cult thriller. It's got some supernatural aspects to it. Gareth Evans, he's
makes movies, mainly made movies in Indonesia.
he has not. This is his first English movie he's made since 2006.
He's Welsh, but he's made mostly martial arts movies.
The Raid,
which is in the box.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
This was something. I want to hear what you guys think about it.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, if you
I watched
if you do
half
watch
of it, but I'll tell you what. For homework, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I went to Boston. Speaking of, we were talking about Jordan Poole. I went to Boston. I always rent a couple of movies and put them on my phone.
Right.
That's just my norm for the plane because I used to. It's funny, when I was young, I used to be able to write and work on my computer, but now, like, I guess getting older, I can't ride roller coasters and I can't fly and do anything that has to do with reading or anything like that.
Motion sickness.
Yeah, I get really motion sickness. So the only thing I can do is put on my headphones and watch movies. Well, I forgot I had one film on my phone, and I'm not real sure how it got there, besides I had bought it a while back.
Yeah.
Straight Outta Compton.
Right.
I had a couple actors in BlacKKKlansman were in that. And I forget to give credit where credit's due. F. Gary Gray is probably one of the most underrated African-American directors out there. And that film is fantastic.
But he's directing the new Men in Black movie, so he'll be okay.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They're bringing that back?
No.
Not with a new cast.
Well, his best is always going to be Friday.
Oh, Friday, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no film better. Oh, come on. Don't act like you didn't like Friday. I didn't smoke weed. And I'm not black, and I love Friday. I watched it over and over and over again.
Well, I mean, he did like the Italian Job remake. I mean,
the Italian Job was great.
Yeah. I mean, he did. He's made a lot of. He's directed a lot of big movies. You know.
Men in Black. You're right.
Yeah, with Chris Hemsworth.
Friday. Yeah, he really has.
Did he do the other Friday movie as well?
I don't think so.
No,
Next
but he
Friday.
did do Law Abiding Citizen.
Yeah.
And The Negotiator.
Right.
Kevin's. Yep. Okay. So he did have two great movies. Oh wait, he did Be Cool.
Yeah, he did do Be Cool, which is a terrible movie.
You're right. But didn't he do some sort of TV show? He did something that was really good. Maybe I'm wrong.
I had a girl once told me she liked Be Cool better than Get Shorty, and I just immediately just never spoke to her again.
Those are ones I think I need to go back and watch. I hate
terrible movie.
I didn't like Get Shorty.
I love Get Shorty. I love Barry Sonnenfeld and Elmore Leonard.
And Get Shorty was like right at the beginning of John Travolta's like back
as a movie after Pulp
Fiction, and it was like everybody was high on John Travolta.
No, that's who not killed. It's friggin' Dennis Farina as the mob boss who killed him. Get Shorty. Oh my gosh,
yeah, he really was.
Rest in peace.
Exactly.
Rest in peace.
I was a cop in Chicago for like 20 years and got killed by a blood clot.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that about?
That's
Takes
crazy.
down a tough cop.
Yeah.
Well, let's get on with the Midnight Drive-In for today. It's BlacKKlansman. I guess to redeem myself, if anybody's listening and is upset about my analysis on Get Out and Jordan Peele's Oscar.
Right.
Spike Lee has been shunned by the Academy for years and years and years. And there's been reasons probably why some of his films get a little bit forced, and he almost did it in this film when he did the posters.
Yeah.
But I will say this, the 25th Hour has all, and Do the Right Thing, and He Got Game have been my top 3 Spike Lee films of all time. I have to say, after tonight, BlacKKlansman has probably taken Do the Right Thing out of there.
Really?
Yeah.
Think it's better than Do the Right Thing?
I think that it was his best film. I think it's an absolute. I think it's a minor masterpiece.
Yeah.
I remember a couple times looking at you guys going, I can't even believe this is a Spike Lee film.
Because it was so slick.
So much different.
Yeah.
It looks so much different, everything.
Yeah.
It was, I will give it, most people say an A. I will 100% give it an A.
Yeah, I'll give it an A.
I don't think there's, I don't even recall, I think it was almost flawless.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Right. But,
with the exception of the Spike Lee dolly shot at the end, and then
Yeah, but I love that shit.
I do too.
Yeah.
But that's
He
the
had to
Spike
do it.
Lee trademark.
Yeah, I love that shit.
And then he finishes, instead of finishing this masterpiece of a film with just, black screen with an upside down flag, he goes to all this violence.
Right.
Which, I guess, a lot of the time I'm kind of like, oh, okay, Spike, we get it. This time it was actually
It really
good
worked.
because I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like, I must live under a rock. I thought David Duke was dead. I thought all those racist bastards were all gone. Like, I thought it's done. You know what I mean? There are people still stomping around with
Tiki
tiki torches, and talking about. I thought. See, maybe I'm a little naive.
Inside of the last year, okay, I work in Alexander County, and
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, in some of the smaller communities around Taylorsville,
Right.
People got bags of rice with like KKK cards in them, thrown on their front porches.
Really?
Yeah, this
stuff
happened
is
about a
still
year
going
ago,
on?
but it's and kind of like it's depicted in this movie. Most of the people that I heard talk about it or received these bags of rice, they laughed it off. Like, this is ridiculous. For somebody like me, I'm 43 years old. When I was a child, my grandparents lived in Lenore. We would go to the Christmas parade, and the Klan marched every year. And I was scared to
I
death.
remember that back in the day. I'm
Sure.
talking about now.
It's not that long ago. I mean, we're talking, this movie takes place when? Late 70s?
No, early 70s.
Yeah, 74 maybe?
They're going to re-elect Nixon, so it's
72 maybe.
72.
Well, it could have been shot in 2002. It could have been shot in 2012. It's not changed that much, is my point. It seems like it's a long time ago, and a lot of that's kind of archaic, but the reality is it's still out there.
Yeah.
I was 11 years old when this movie is taking place, and my best friend at that time was a black kid. Which, for me, it's like racism did not exist as an 11-year-old kid. It's something that we learn from.
It's learned.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, yeah, and you're absolutely right. I've got something for that. But anyway, I'll get to it when we talk about films. I was still a zygote.
That's floating around your dad's ball sack.
Yeah, I was in.
Well, I'm an old fart, so there you go.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. So who wants to start? Well, you heard me.
What can we say? You stole my word, masterpiece. I watched Spike Lee's first film the other night. Now I've watched his latest, and I've seen the direction. His direction has obviously improved over the years, but with a story like this, it's like I can't see any other director taking this story and doing it. It was just flawless. In my opinion, it was flawless.
You haven't seen Spike Lee's last film, Red Hook Summer, about the child molesting preacher, then?
No.
Yeah, well,
I've seen that.
His direction goes up and down.
He also directs a lot of movies.
Yeah,
he's got 89 directing credits, which a lot of that's music videos and shorts and stuff.
He's a busy
but at
man.
least 40 of them are movies.
Yeah.
He's directed some low-budget horror movies that nobody's seen, and just...
He did that one film, Bamboozled, with on DV, DV tape.
Yeah,
Steven Soderbergh came out with Full Frontal.
Right.
And he was shooting on the 3-chip video camera.
Yeah.
Then Spike Lee said, I got to do that too, and shot Bamboozled. That seems like
that was what, 2000?
Yes, the year I graduated from college.
Yeah.
But this film is just so. The story is just so amazing. That you're just sitting there going, a black man infiltrated the Ku Klux Klan. It's just sounds too good to be true, too amazing. But this actually happened.
And how much of that film? How much do you think? It was based on the book that Ron Stallworth wrote. Sure, some was probably exaggerated.
Right.
But I wonder how much, because there wasn't that much exaggerated in it.
Right. No. Now, there was a movie that came out a few months ago called, it was directed by a guy named Boots Riley, who was a rapper back in the 90s.
Sorry to bother you.
Now, he has a huge problem with this movie.
Does he?
Yes, he says that where he infiltrates the Black Student Union, that was apparently a much bigger chunk of the story. And he infiltrated a lot of groups like that. And apparently they just,
Stalwart did.
yeah. And apparently that, and he says that is what should have been that's what's glossed over in the movie. And so I mean,
that he was.
yeah, so he but I mean, at the same time, I mean, how much can you put into how long is that movie? 2 hours.
He was
This
being
is a very long
Darnold,
movie.
is that why
Right.
Boots Riley?
Yeah, that's basically what Boots Riley is. Yeah.
He was, because he was a cop and he was infiltrating. He was infiltrating his own.
Right.
Oh,
He was more cop than activist.
Right.
He wanted the movie to be more like 3.5 hours long. Is what he wanted, just to get the whole story. But
Yeah.
But to get down to the heart of the story, Spike did it the right way, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think so.
He focused on the right stuff.
Like how much? Like let's say a lot of movies don't even say based on a true story now. They say inspired by true events. Which
this one was based on for real, for shit,
For real shit.
For real shit is what it said.
how much of a movie do you think has to be true for it to be based on a true story? Because there's a lot of movies.
25%.
25%?
Well, The Departed
Not that
was
much,
supposed to technically be based on the guy that died today.
Whitey Bulger.
Yeah,
Supposed to
Whitey
Whitey
Bulger
Bulger.
got
Did he
killed.
die today?
He got murdered in prison.
Oh, wow.
Did you see our post about it on Twitter?
That's awesome.
Finally, some positive news.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's right.
He got shivved.
Yep, he finally got shivved.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Right. Inspired by
yeah,
Whitey
inspired.
Bulger.
What is
Only
he,
appropriate
80?
that he died.
He's
that way.
89.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was...
Yeah.
Somebody said, "I'm gonna kill the."
Well, he had
Boston
already
Mob
done his
Hall.
shit.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Anyway, yes, 25%.
Yeah. 25%? Yeah. I'd say that's probably about right.
Did you like the film?
Oh, I loved it. I loved
yeah.
it. I really did. Yeah.
I guess we need to revisit The Departed now that this has happened.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I thought it was slick. I thought it was, like I said, obviously there's probably a lot of stuff that was left out. I haven't read the book.
Much more stylistic. Than
Much more style. And like Doug and I were talking before the podcast, this is his first hit movie since Inside Man 2006, which is probably his second slickest movie, technically.
Oh yeah, production-wise.
And I wanted, he probably wanted to get the message out, but probably was also I'm sure it feels good to have a hit movie.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
I think.
Do you think this movie will get a wide screening around these parts?
Well,
Do you think it'll be shown
no,
at
because it's
theaters?
already on DVD.
It's already done.
Yeah.
It's already done.
It came out,
Everybody
what?
missed it. Why do you think we're doing it?
Yeah.
So everybody said this is a
February,
great movie and nobody watched it, and that's why.
Yeah.
But hey,
I think this is one of the most important movies
I'll make a bold
ever
statement.
made.
Spike Lee will get the Oscar for Best Directing for this film.
I hope so.
He will
I really
get
hope
one.
so.
He will finally get. He probably won't show up. But
He might not get Best Picture,
He'll get something.
but he'll get something.
He'll
should-
get
he
the
should get
writing.
Best
He
Picture.
won't get it. He won't get it just because of the times.
Exactly right.
Like I think Get Out did. He will get it because the
It's that
movie
good.
earned it by its
Right.
own merit, and he does such a
It made
fantastic
85
job.
million. It was pretty successful.
Okay, all right.
Well, and it won it off people saying this movie's
Right.
good. You must go see
Yeah.
It was.
it. Yeah, and yes, you're right. When he gets up there, if he gets best adapted screenplay or he gets best director,
Now, if he
it
doesn't-
won't just be
holy
for
God.
politically.
Yeah.
It won't be just
Right,
to be.
that's what I'm
politically.
saying.
Also, we were just at the start of Oscar season. You never know what's going to come out.
Right.
Because, we have lots of,
Well, you got Lady Gaga in her best performance.
yeah.
Despite,
I would bet this is going to win Best Picture.
I don't know about all that. I think
I'll lay
Spike Lee-
$5 on it.
Oh yeah, oh,
It'll be a nominee for sure.
Yeah. And it should be.
I think he'll get either adapted screenplay or director
Yeah.
for sure. I don't know about best picture because it is early.
Yeah, do you think he'll show up if he gets nominated or pull
I think
Marlon
he will.
Brando?
I think he will.
Yeah. There'll be a speech, though. There'll be a hell of a speech.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if he gets up there, if he wins. Now, if he doesn't win, there's going to be a speech too.
Oh, there's going to be a completely different speech.
But I like Spike Lee. I like all his films. They all have a certain stylistic. They all have a style to
Yeah.
them. I love 25th Hour.
I love- yeah.
Everybody's of course I relate to that. I'm white. But
Yeah.
it really was good.
Yeah, it really
the book
was good.
was written by the guy who's
Yeah.
half helm in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It was a great story. It came up in a really dismal part of my life.
Yeah.
So as depressing as it was,
Oh,
it
yeah.
kinda hit hard.
First movie to shoot in New York after 9/11.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, I was getting ready to say the opening credits alone,
Yeah.
just take you right into that film.
Oh, yeah.
You don't even know.
It's like Yeah, it's like that. It's a time capsule of that time, that sort of fever time after 9/11.
The first shot is just a. Have you seen 25th Hour?
No.
The first shot is just it's a light beam.
Yeah.
And they do the whole opening credits.
Yeah.
And it's just these different shots of light beams, and as they're coming out further and further, you realize it's the two towers light beams.
It's so weird that
it's amazing.
It's Edward Norton.
Yeah. It's like it felt like from 2003 till now feels like 2 seconds, but that year from September 2001 to September 2002, that felt like 10 fucking years.
Yeah.
It really did.
Yeah.
I mean. But since then, it feels like nothing's gone. But yeah, I remember that. It seemed like it took forever.
It was crazy. That scene where Philip Seymour Hoffman and Barry Peppers are talking about him and how he's going to go away for 20 years. And all of a sudden, he leans down and he's looking over Ground Zero.
Oh, yeah.
And
they're
working.
The post and the times.
Screw the post.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then he looks out the window, and you still see the bulldozers clearing the dirt, and that whole scene is shot. It's one shot. Like that film. It's there's just I don't know. I love BlacKKlansman. I love it, but 25th Hour right now will still be my personal favorite Spike Lee. Funny, I liked Girl 6.
Yeah,
and all Girl 6 was. Prince finally told Spike Lee, "You can use my music in a movie."
Right.
And so Spike Lee went home.
Got to make a movie.
Went home and spent 3 hours writing Girl 6.
Yeah. It's got a saxophone operator.
Just so he could use Prince music. Yeah. And I still.
It's an entertaining movie.
I mean, the first scene with Theresa Randall and Quentin Tarantino, and he's trying.
Which is weird because him and Spike hate each other now.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they particularly.
Well, I'm sure it's because Spike Lee doesn't like what Quentin Tarantino.
He probably wishes he was making those movies.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but and then Do the Right Thing is
great.
When it came out, it's fantastic. I mean, it's
like 24 hours. It's that time,
Yeah. Yeah, so you didn't like Do the Right Thing?
I did like it. It was so different from anything I'd ever seen. So it's like Lee says, you have to look back on it a week later, and because just coming right out of the movie, it's like, well, it was made in 1989, and so I'm being overly critical probably. But probably in about a week, I'll look back at it and go, that was fantastic.
Yeah, oh yeah,
and because it really. Had some good performances, had some bad acting, but that's the things that I look at.
Right.
So, but overall, the message of the movie, everything, it was a good film.
All they had to do was put up a picture.
All they had to do was what?
Put up a picture in the wall. All they wanted was one picture.
Oh yeah. Other Spike Lee movies.
My list is going chronologically. Do the Right Thing, Malcolm X, Clockers with Harvey Keitel. I love that movie. That's a good movie.
Good.
He got Game, 25th Hour, and Inside Man.
Yeah,
and this BlacKKlansman now.
He got Game. Okay, with the exception of Ray Allen's terrible acting.
But he's also never acted before.
I love that film.
Yeah,
like I love Denzel Washington. I love the story.
Yeah,
it'll always be. I watched that one.
How many has Denzel been in of Spike Lee?
Mo Better Blues,
Malcolm X,
Inside Man. I think that's it.
He got Game.
Because people listening tonight might not know that his son is the lead actor.
He's the star of BlacKKlansman. Yeah.
And what did you think of Denzel's sons? What is
it? It was phenomenal.
Well, Doug, it's so funny. Doug and I talked about this yesterday when he popped into the office. That he doesn't. I think he looks more like his mother.
Yeah.
So you don't really see Denzel.
But he sounds
but
exactly
good Lord,
like him.
when he talks, it's like you can just hear years of him listening.
And
to his
apparently, charisma is genetic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because he has it. Tons of it.
Yeah, and he was fantastic. He's also in Ballers on HBO with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah,
he's good, and he's well on his way. I mean, it's funny because sometimes you see the pass down of actors, real renowned actors. Let the kids come and they show up and they're, or they just get it.
Oh, no, he's good and he earned it.
Yeah,
Man.
some of them just get it because, it's so-and-so's son. This guy...
Exception when he would say a few things that sounded like Denzel, I wasn't thinking this is Denzel Washington's son. I was just sucked into the movie.
Yeah.
And what about...
a couple of phrases,
what's his
though.
name?
My
Kylo
God.
Ren.
Oh, yeah, Adam Driver.
Adam Driver.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Again.
Yeah.
It's so funny because first thing he is Kylo Ren. You see him in a Star Wars film and you're like, well, here's Lance Christensen. Here it comes, and since then, man, he has made some great choices. With Lucky Logan or Logan
Lucky. Yeah.
I mean, he's just good. I think
he has that West Virginia accent down.
Yes,
he really does.
He was fantastic in this film.
Yeah.
Just fantastic. Spike Lee, I mean, it was flawlessly directed, flawlessly shot. Soundtrack was great.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that Spike Lee always, it's Wynton Marsalis all the time.
Yeah.
Same guy that he collaborates with.
Yeah.
You could always tell.
Is it Wynton or Branford Marsalis?
It's Branford.
Branford, yeah.
Branford,
I think it's Wynton.
Because Branford worked on
Is it?
Do the Right Thing. I saw it in the credits.
It's the younger one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Branford became the band leader for Jay Leno
For a short time.
Yeah.
But you can tell the signature music in this.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
But it fit. I mean,
And he picked some great 60s and 70s tunes.
I was going to say
Yeah.
the actual regular tunes that they used were Terrence Blanchard. That's who it is. Terrence Blanchard. He's been using him. 25th Hour.
Yeah. Inside Man.
Yeah.
The score is kind of similar to Inside Man.
They're all
score.
Inside Man. They're all the same. It's always Terrence Blanchard. It'll go down in history as one of Spike Lee's best films. If Spike Lee makes another movie for the next 20 years of his life every year, like he's been doing.
Yeah.
As long as racism exists, this film will be an important film, I think.
It almost makes me forget Red Hook Summer. Almost. And Chirac.
So I've not seen either of those.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Red Hook Summer, the trailer did not do it
Just
for
don't,
me.
don't watch them.
Yeah.
Now, especially.
Right.
Just keep BlacKKlansman in your heart. You go back and watch Red Hook Summer or Chirac and you're going to be like,
Right. But it's like,
same guy.
Right.
Weren't you going to talk about Philip Seymour Hoffman? Didn't you have something like that in your notes? You're gonna...
I was going to talk about 25th
Segue into
Hour
it.
like he was so great.
Yeah.
He was just a nice side.
He's such a douche in 25th Hour, but in a great way.
Yeah.
Like, he's such a pathetic guy.
He's always a douche, though.
That's true. But he's, like in a movie you're talking about you didn't like in Punch Drunk Love.
Yes.
Like that. But he's great now as the mattress man.
Yes.
He's amazing. He's the best part of the movie.
Oh, he is. He's the best. He's almost the best part of Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
And
he's pathetic in that.
Yeah, but that's
I love
acting
Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
was great. He's
Right.
great. The Master.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Right.
It's a shame that a talent like that is gone.
Yeah.
One of his best films, probably nobody's ever seen. I think you saw it. Maybe you turned me on to it. I think it's. Let me get the name right. It was the Before the Devil Knows You're Dead.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Sidney Lumet's last movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
with Ethan Hawke.
Right.
And
Great.
the opening scene's him banging Marissa Tomei.
It's killer, man.
And then
Yeah.
the brothers they're trying to rob from their dad,
Yeah.
right?
Their parents own a jewelry store.
That's right. Yeah, I mean that film was fantastic.
Yeah.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman was great. I mean he's been great.
Yeah.
Everything he's done.
He's-
Charlie Wilson's War.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That movie's terrible.
Yeah.
But he's so good at it.
He's
You didn't like
the
that
best
movie?
part.
I love
no,
that
movie's
movie.
terrible.
I love that movie.
When he breaks that glass out.
Have you ever seen Owning Mahoney?
No.
It's based on a true story. Philip Seymour Hoffman movie. He's the star of it. He was this guy, I think Dan Mahoney, and he was a bank manager in Canada. I think it's in Canada, and he was a compulsive gambler. Would bet on both teams in a sporting event. But he was at this huge bank, and he would extend rich people's loans, and they were so rich they would just pay it. So he would take that money, extend their loans, take it, and go to Atlantic City, and he didn't even like to win. He just loved to gamble. And he's amazing in it. It's called Owning Mahoney, and he's just like if the Giants are playing the 49ers, bet on them both. you know, and cancel out his own bet. But he just, and you know, they actually have at the casino he went to, they have a Dan Mahoney Day every year in Atlantic City because he gave them so much money. Yeah.
I've never even heard of that.
I haven't either.
It's a real small movie.
Let me write that down.
Yeah.
Oni Mahoney.
Yeah. I have it on DVD if you want to.
Oni. Well, I love Philip Seymour Hoffman. Anybody remember that small, little, disgusting movie by Todd Solondz called
Happiness?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We need to do that movie.
No, we don't.
Yes.
No.
Yes, we need to do that movie.
I don't think we do.
Mark,
Mark, if you didn't like Magnolia, you'll fucking love Happiness.
What is happiness?
I don't really want to say.
we're not gonna. But he's fantastic.
I'll have a strep throat that week.
Everybody's fantastic in that movie.
Yeah.
It's an old film. It's all.
So it's a movie of great performances, but really the story goes nowhere. Is that what you're telling me?
No, the story goes places.
Very disturbing.
It's
Because I think the two movies, Magnolia and Boogie Nights, had the same director. Did they not?
no.
Yes.
Magnolia.
Come on.
I thought
Magnolia and Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
Come on, all you midnight drive-in fans. What do you
Boogie
say
Nights.
we do Happiness
Awesome.
next week?
Be so hard. Cover your ears. Oh God, I haven't heard that in years.
Oh,
I don't think I want to hear it again.
Yeah.
That and what was that other great film? It's all talk. Remember, it had the Metallica guitar. Metallica was the soundtrack, but it was all guitar. All My Friends. It
Yeah.
had Jason
Friends
Patrick.
and Neighbors.
Yes, that's it.
Friends and Neighbors, yeah.
That's another great film, man. Great. We should do a double feature.
Oh.
We should do Friends and Neighbors and Happiness.
Friends and Neighbors is like a walk in the fucking park compared to Happiness. Happiness is as cringeworthy as.
It's a very disturbing film about a bunch
There
of
will be
schlubs.
parts in it that you just you see it once, you don't need to see it again.
I'd love to see it again.
I'm good.
Is it like that cannibal movie you're telling me about?
No, that's a more fun movie to watch. At least that has effects in it. You got to figure out how the fuck did they do that?
Yeah.
These other ones are just like.
Yeah, I would rather watch Cannibal Holocaust on mescaline than watch Happiness again.
Wow, really?
Yes,
Oh,
that is an
wow.
affirmative.
Well, so we'll scratch that idea. Hey, Mark, do some homework. Go rent Happiness.
Yeah, I would love to hear Mark take on Happiness because I've already seen it.
Who is in this movie? How
Philip
many?
Seymour
I
Hoffman.
will send you a link to
Tons of people.
everything. Oh, it's great. It's an ensemble. Laura Flynn Boyle's
I think
in it.
Dylan Baker.
Yep, Dylan Baker.
Yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman,
Yeah.
of course, as this playing the schlub like he normally does.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the greatest thing ever, man. Yes, Happiness.
Unlike in
Anybody?
Capote, which is his masterpiece. I mean, it was.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
obviously. What he got his Oscar for.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anybody hasn't seen Happiness, you should definitely go rent Happiness. Do not watch it with your parents.
Or your children.
Or your children.
Or at all.
Yeah.
I would probably rather watch Pink Flamingos than watch Happiness.
I would watch one of those colonoscopy videos before I watch Happiness.
Oh, all right. Well, so tonight was a huge success at the Midnight Drive-In. BlacKKlansman. I suggest everybody see this film. It's very important. And like Mark said, it's very, very important, especially with these times that we're in where things are a little bit tense. It's a very important film. Get Out, you can miss that one. But see BlacKKlansman. If you like if you want other racially driven films that are really good, obviously The Color Purple, if you've never seen it, it's fantastic. Mississippi Burning, great. 12 Years a Slave, the last film that I actually balled in. I think there's only been 3: The English Patient and Titanic, and the last. Yeah,
The
12 Years a Slave.
English patient.
The English Patient.
I cried because I wanted it to be fucking over.
I cried when I looked at the timer and saw there was 45 minutes left.
The English Patient is amazing. It's a masterpiece. Really?
Oh. Well, I don't like it.
Is
You ever seen that?
Yeah.
So Seinfeld with Elaine. I'm Elaine in that. I'm just like, oh, fuck.
The last time Lee cried at a movie, it was in the film Executive Decision when Steven Seagal decided to save Kurt Russell as the plane.
First of all, saving Kurt Russell is a hell of a way to die.
That's hilarious.
The last one I cried in was A Star Is Born because I just revisited the 1976 version because the new one is coming out. And the 76 version holds up really well. Chris Christopherson and Barbara Streisand.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Last one I cried at was actually 3 Billboards.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, what a good,
Yeah.
You know what? We never really got into that.
No.
What a great film.
No.
Like, it was just...
Now, go back to
well, let me ask you.
Yeah.
What part did you cry
That was
at?
Woody Harrelson's last scene.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 When they're reading his
Yeah, oh, yeah.
voiceover and
Yeah.
he's talking about how,
That was rough.
Well, it was a lump in your throat type of movie in many parts,
Right.
where you've got that uncomfortable lump in your throat through a whole lot of it.
I love that guy, Martin McDonagh. He is the man. Yeah. He's the guy. Like he'll have to make 20 shitty movies for me to stop watching his movies. He's got a lot of goodwill with me. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's great. It's funny you say that because my wife works at hospice.
Right.
And she's always talking about plans. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
And she started talking about me, and I was like, honey, you know what? If I get cancer, you don't have to worry about me. Because you're just going to wake up, and there's going to be envelopes and for everybody, and you're never going to see me again. You're going to be fine.
There you go.
And I was just avoiding the conversation because I'm tired of talking about it. Like she's wanting to plan everything, and I'm like, you know what? Who cares?
Yeah.
So I just watched that movie, and I said that. Well,
What did she think of that?
She starts tearing up, like,
Yeah.
I can't believe you would tell me that. And I'm like, so that's just kidding. I just saw it.
Make a joke and it just
Yeah.
goes like a lead balloon.
But that film is, everything about that film is fantastic. It really is.
The ending was kind of questionable, but everything else.
I think it ended exactly what it needed to.
Yeah. What did you not like about the ending?
Well, the ending just kind of made me say, well, I don't need to see this film again. So it's a great movie. I will probably never watch it again.
Right.
It just kind of left me. Which it probably should have, since it was an uncomfortable movie to begin with.
Right.
It should leave you feeling that, I guess.
Mark's an old school man. He wants the Hollywood ending.
Right.
He wants the resolution.
Well, see, I think that has a lot to do
with
with like Martin McDonagh's Irish, and his movies just have fucked up humor in them.
Yeah.
Like, there are jokes in his movies in places where a normal director would not put a joke. Like in It Bruges, there's a joke where Colin Farrell's character wants to kill himself throughout that entire movie.
Yeah,
and they make him go through the boat ride, and Brendan Gleeson loves being in Bruges, all the the old medieval buildings and everything. And he tells Colin Farrell, well, we're going to have fun. It's going to be a balance between fun and culture. And Colin Farrell says, yeah, it'll be balanced. Like a big, fat, retarded girl on a seesaw opposite a dwarf. And when I saw that in the theater in Asheville, I was laughing so hard. And the theater was just silent, except for me, just horse laughing. Because it's like, it's almost like a horror movie. Like the scare lets off the anxiety.
Yeah.
Just his movies build up all this tension, and then he puts a joke in there, and it just lets it out.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what...
There was a lot of that in this film.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of that in this film.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they're making, like, black jokes, and we're all like, bah!
Yeah.
But that's what...
It makes the seriousness palatable.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And then, and they made fun of, oh my God, like the funniest parts were when he was talking to David Duke, and every now and then he'd have to cover the thing.
Right.
I was laughing at it. I mean, I just think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I wonder if David Duke... I wonder if he's suing anybody.
I don't know.
It's always good to have fun at the Klan's expense.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I remember in '88, the first presidential election I remember as a kid, I remember when he ran for president. And he didn't even... I remember sitting there with my dad, and he didn't win the state of Louisiana. And my dad had been like, well, that's how you know he's an idiot. He couldn't even win his home state. And,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because that guy thought he was going to be president.
Yep, he really did. Yep, he really did.
One of the coolest things about was I think me and you were talking about it a few weeks ago. Topher Grace, who's you would not think would be as good as he is as David Duke. He's great.
Oh yeah.
He actually hated being in this movie so much, like hated playing David. Like being in the movie, hated playing David Duke. When he during this movie, he actually edited all of the Star Wars prequels into one movie, and that's how he would like decompress. So he just made it all 3 of the prequels into a 2-hour movie, and he said it would get his mind. It was like meditation. He said it would just get his mind off of it.
Really?
And apparently he's edited all the Lord of the Rings movies into one movie. It's just something he does, just for Then he like screens them for free for his
So
friends.
he's an editor. So he'll go into his trailer and cut these movies together.
And not to ever like show to anyone like professionally, just
to do it.
It's just how it makes him made him forget about playing this terrible human being.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he was great in it.
He really was.
Remember we talked about we're going to come out of that movie and
he's gonna be
everybody's going to
yeah.
say that movie's awesome. Topher Grace, the white guy, was the best part.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
He was, but he was really good.
Damn.
I was not thinking it was that guy from that '70s show.
Yeah,
I was,
no way.
No.
He was great.
Yeah.
And it was cool coming from a filmmaker. I don't know if anybody, well, you noticed because I said something, but anytime that Ron was talking to David on the phone, they were cutting back and forth, the camera was slightly crooked.
Right.
To give that effect of how, just how off that...
How fucked up the whole situation was.
So
I mean, this guy's talking to David Duke.
It's like, for the first time ever, Spike Lee kept the camera normal.
Right.
He's doing nice, solid push-ins.
Oh,
He's doing pans, and he's not doing his crazy stuff.
Doing all that Scorsese shit.
And that stuff that he does, like on the dolly shot at the end. Or there's rack zooms. He does all sorts of crazy stuff in all his films. This one he did not.
Yeah.
It's like he kept it still.
Right.
And then, but he did do something very subtle. When David Duke would talk to Ron, the camera would be slightly dutched.
Right.
And it really took me, because the rest of the movie was so smoothly slick, like you say.
Yeah.
Those shots stood out because they were the only ones that were just slightly dutched.
Yeah.
Did you notice some parts of the story that were purposely to show parallel between today's administration? Like the use of the words "America First," which I kind of doubt they probably used those back then, but
it's they might have. I don't know. Yeah, they could be.
It's being used at a certain president's rallies these days, but it was just interesting to see his use of incorporating today into the situation.
They say one of the main things that destroyed the nationwide Klan was David Duke. That so many people hated his sort of mainstream, be accepted leadership that it splintered it into a bunch of different groups. So at that point it was just one organization, that and their inability to pay taxes and stuff like that. But which is a standard
their inability to do simple math,
exactly, which is a standard stupid criminal trap. But that was one of the things that broke it up into a bunch of just splinter groups that accomplished nothing. Was he wanted them to be accepted as like a mainstream political organization. Which they go into in the movie. Like, he's not the Grand Wizard, he's the National Director. Stuff like that. Sort of like...
and he couldn't win his own state.
He couldn't win his own... Yeah, exactly.
Which it's a good thing.
Yeah, very good thing, yeah.
And seeing him at the end during the real news... we'll just call it the real news montage.
Yeah.
At the very end of the movie. The
spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Was all that real?
Yeah, all that was real.
So that Charger?
That absolutely happened.
I remember.
That girl they showed? Yeah, she got...
That Charger just barreled through all those people.
And she got killed.
And that's all in Charlottesville,
Virginia.
Is that where the okay?
They were taking down a Confederate statue.
That's right.
And the people were having a protest again, and then all the Klans guys, all the white supremacist guys showed up to have a counter protest, and it just went shithouse.
That's right. That's right. And then somebody drove over a Charger.
A bunch of people got hurt, but that one young lady got killed.
Lots of fights. It was But my point was, I hadn't heard the name David Duke in probably 20 years.
Yeah.
And then to see him talking on that bothered me more than the violence did.
Right. Because he sees this is now his moment.
Right.
Well, I've heard from him in the last several years because he supported Donald Trump.
Right.
So you heard him in the news talking about Trump.
Who's Donald Trump?
He used to host that game show on NBC.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, he owns those hotels.
Right, yeah, exactly.
He's Macho Camacho.
He used to own
Did
a
you
lot
see?
of casinos.
Did you
that
see
don't have
Idiocracy?
He's actually no, I haven't.
Oh, put that on the list.
business. Yeah. First of all, he's not half the president Dwayne Macho Camacho was in Idiocracy. That's not bad now, Terry Crews.
Put Idiocracy on that list.
Idiocracy. That's got
yeah.
Ben Stiller. Who is that?
No, it's Luke Wilson.
That's right,
Yeah.
Luke Wilson.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for another Midnight Drive-In. Announcements. I got a couple of announcements. Completely different kind of films playing at the Hounds Drive-In. 114, Raven Circle, and Kings Mountain this weekend. They're doing a triple feature. November 2nd and 3rd. On Screen 1, you can watch Grease, followed by Dirty Dancing, one of my favorites. We love you, Patrick Swayze. Rest in peace. And third movie, Footloose. So get those three back to back, and I guess it's probably going to be about 30 degrees. Yeah. So dancing will be in order to keep warm. But hey,
it's a 2-screen drive-in.
It's a 2-screen.
Yeah.
The other one is playing A Star Is Born and Bohemian Rhapsody.
Right.
So it's a very musical weekend.
Yeah. They do a lot of cool stuff there. Like when The Nun came out a couple months ago, they had a guy dressed up in a nun suit, like running around the drive-in. Like they do a lot of like stuff, like fan stuff, like the old screenings and stuff.
Well, just the fact that there's still a working
it's new
drive-in, yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's the Hounds Drive-In. It's on Facebook, and I think it's on the web. So we don't, I don't have their website on me, but I was actually planning on taking the children to the Grease, Dirty Dancing, Footloose triple feature, but got called into work, so now I'm not going to get to go. And then also Golden Ticket Cinemas, $5 movies all week long. Can't beat that. $5 on Tuesdays. $2 popcorn and drinks. Reclining seating. You guys, come on. We went and saw Halloween there.
Love that place.
Great theater.
The seats are fantastic.
Yeah.
And you have something, don't you?
Wednesday, the Foot Candle Society is screening the new Robert Redford film at the Carolina Theater downtown Hickory. Old Man with the Gun.
If you guys are interested, we should
Wednesday
mosey on over there. That'd be a good one. And that's it for.
That's next Wednesday night, not tomorrow.
You guys have anything to add?
Nope, I'm good.
Kill the white folk?
Kill Whitey.
Kill Whitey for sure.
Starting with Garrick.
Starting with Garrick, that's right. Okay, well, BlacKKKlansman, please watch. Very
the
good.
Lamentation of the Women.
And tell us what you think. If you see it, tell us on the Facebook page what you thought of it if you watch it.
Yes, and I guess we have actually our November in order. If you guys, we're going to view a new Joaquin Phoenix film on the next show, and then we're going to finish the month with one that Mark has been waiting very patiently to do, and that's Duel, Steven Spielberg's first film. So there you go for November. We've got our 2 movies lined up. To all three of November, no horror films.
Yep.
All completely different films. One action-packed. I think the Joaquin Phoenix, You Were Never Really Here is the name of it. He plays a hitman, and he gets the premise is he's a hitman, and he gets hired by a dad to find his daughter who has been stolen for child trafficking. No, that's
light subject matter, huh?
Right.
Yeah, light subject matter. But Joaquin Phoenix is always good, even in his terrible movies. Even the movies you don't like, he's good in. I mean, I don't remember a movie. Well, with the exception of his thumbs down in Gladiator, his little whatever that thing was.
Commodus.
Yeah, he's always pretty good.
There's a movie that's not really based on a true story.
Less than 25%.
Yeah, that's about 2%.
Yeah.
All right, well, folks, that's it for this week. Thanks a lot for listening. We'll talk to you soon.
You've been listening to the Midnight Drive-In, brought to you by Golden Ticket Cinemas. $5 movies Monday through Friday. Ticket sales and times at gtccinemas.com. Looking for that hard-to-find collectible? Look no further. The Spot will find it for you. located in Newton, North Carolina, but worldwide on Facebook at Facebook.com/The Spot Toys. And finally, preserve your company's legacy in HD. Contact Unique Philosophy and Roadhouse Pictures for all your marketing and video needs. Check them out at uniquephilosophy.com or call 828-485-7435. Their marketing is effective and efficient. They produce, engineer, and cut our shows, and we are grateful for them. Be sure to like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram or Twitter for all the latest news. And if you love the show, help us keep it going. Become a Patreon today. Thanks to all our sponsors for contributing to our show.